We all have that one huge goal, right? The one that feels like it's just out of reach. But what if the biggest thing holding you back isn't the world outside, but the landscape inside of us? So today, we're going to dive into a really powerful idea from Brianna Wiest's book, The Mountain is You. It's all about the art of getting out of your own way.
This right here is the central idea, and honestly, it's a total game changer. The book suggests that the biggest challenge in your life, that giant, unmovable mountain you see, it's not something you should try to go around. It's the very thing you need to climb to grow. It's not the obstacle, it is the path. So, what exactly is this mountain we're talking about? Well, it's not your boss, or your job, or your circumstances. As we're about to see, it's all the stuff we're carrying around inside of us. That's right. The mountain is really just a symbol for all our internal baggage. Our fears, our old hurts, and those limiting beliefs that just seem to keep us stuck. So this whole journey is about transforming that pattern of self-sabotage into real, genuine self-mastery.
Okay, let's talk about a word we all know a little too well, self-sabotage. Most of us, we see it as this character flaw, right? Something we need to just crush with more willpower. But this book offers a totally different take. And you know what? It's a much more compassionate way of looking at it.
We do this all the time. We tell ourselves we're just being lazy or undisciplined when we keep putting off that big project. But what if it's not that at all? According to Wiest, self-sabotage is actually the subconscious drive to keep things familiar, even if that familiar feeling is painful. It's this powerful, hidden desire to stay exactly where we are. And this is a really important point. It's not a weakness. It's a defense mechanism. Think about it. These behaviors that hold us back now were probably survival strategies that helped us cope with something difficult in the past. They protected us back then, but now they just keep us stuck. So what's really fueling all this? Well, it almost always boils down to these deep-seated fears. Does any of this sound familiar? Maybe it's that fear of the unknown that comes with any real change, or a fear of what might happen if you fail, or heck, even a fear of being rejected if you actually succeed. Sometimes we just cling to the pain we know because it's way more predictable than the happiness we don't.
All right, so recognizing the mountain is the first step. That's huge. But how do you actually start climbing? Well, thankfully, the book doesn't just leave us stranded at the bottom of the peak. It gives us a whole set of essential tools for the ascent.
It really boils down to 3 core practices that build the foundation for this whole journey. First, it starts with understanding our emotions, not as enemies, but as messengers. Then, it's about releasing the weight of our past, because you just can't climb a new mountain with old baggage. And finally, it's all about rebuilding trust in ourselves, one small promise at a time.
This chart really gets to the heart of what emotional awareness is all about. So many of us were taught to just avoid or push down difficult feelings, but all that does is prolong the pain. The real work is in learning to actually sit with that discomfort and listen. Your emotions aren't your enemies. They are messengers trying to tell you something really important. I love this line because it perfectly sums up that second tool, letting go. To really move forward, you have to release the past. That means forgiving yourself, forgiving others, and letting go of old identities that just don't fit anymore. You've got to make space for the new person you're becoming. And all of this leads us to the ultimate point of the climb. It's not about finding some hidden, perfect version of yourself that's been there all along. No, it's about actively building the person you want to become day by day. This quote just puts the power right back in our hands, doesn't it? Self-mastery isn't some lightning strike of inspiration. It's a construction project. It's built brick by brick through all the small, consistent choices you make every single day. So how do you build that trust? Well, it's simple, but it's definitely not easy. You keep the promises you make to yourself. It doesn't have to be perfect, but being consistent in the small things like waking up on time or finishing one small task, that's what strengthens the belief in your own ability. Every small win is another stepping stone on your path. Which brings us to the final, really powerful takeaway of all this. We're coming full circle, right back to that initial idea of the mountain. Here it is. This is the core message. Your inner struggles, your fears, your so-called flaws, they aren't there to stop you. They are literally the raw material of your transformation. Confronting them is exactly how you turn your pain into your purpose and your fear into undeniable strength. Wow, this line is a gut punch, but in the best way possible. True growth isn't just an add-on. it's a replacement. It requires you to let go of who you have been, the comfortable patterns, even the familiar pain, to make room for who you are becoming. It's a huge but necessary exchange. And so that leaves us with this final question, and it's a personal one. The mountain is you, and the path forward is the climb. By understanding your own inner landscape and choosing to grow day by day, you don't just conquer the mountain, you become it. So the real question is, what summit are you ready to reach for?